Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of Unvarnished. I am Chris Hyde, and that is Darren Painter.
Hello, everyone.
And Darren, as usual, we got a great one today. And
Yes.
today we have Colin McDermott. And Colin, you have to remind me because I don't see any kind of logos or anything around you. Where are you from again?
So I'm based in a little place called Troon, which is about 40 minutes outside Glasgow in Scotland.
All right. I mean, what company are you with? Because I can't tell from all the branding.
It's the online print coach.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Colin, we're going to hit you with the hardest question of all of them. Who are you and how did you get into print?
Okay. First of all, thanks for having me, guys. So I'm Colin McDermott. I'm an online print coach. And I first came into the industry back in the 90s. I had kind of studied printing, print management, in fact, at the Glasgow College of Printing. And found myself from there moving into my first kind of role within the industry was working for a commercial printers in Glasgow. They kind of brought me in initially as a junior estimator, and within 2 months, the senior estimator had left, and I was running the estimating department all by myself, fresh out of college. But it was a real baptism of fire, and I ran the estimating department there for a good year or so before getting the opportunity to move into production. From there, I assisted the production manager with all things in the shop floor. And probably after doing that for a year or so, I kind of seen all the fancy sales guys driving about in flash cars and decided that I wanted to move into print sales, which kind of went on to shape the rest of my career, really. I eventually went self-employed early 2000s. I had a few clients that had been encouraging me to move into the world of print management. So I set up my first company 2004. And for 4 or 5 years, I was living the dream. I was making lots of money, loving print, until the recession hit in 2008. My biggest account at the time was the Royal Bank of Scotland. They decided to centralise all their print back down to Birmingham in England. And I lost my biggest account overnight, which was a real sore one. And then about 10 days after that, I got hit with a £50,000 bad debt. And that was pretty much the end of my first print company. You learn a lot of lessons, no regrets. Took a year out, and I went to work for a book printers in Wales. And it was always a stopgap. I kind of knew I was going to do something else. I just wasn't quite sure what. And over that period, I had read a book called The E-Myth, which was all about business systems and processes, and franchising was one element of that. And I very much seen print was moving online, so thought I would have a go at setting up an online print company and franchise it. And we done well. I went on a thing called Angel's Den, which is like a super small version of your version of Shark Tank. And we managed to get some investors on board. One was the ex-chief exec of a big insurance company over here in the UK. And that allowed me to bring production in-house. We built up a franchise management team, and we were doing pretty good. Our best time, we had 12 franchise locations around the UK. But as life sometimes throws us curveballs, we got hit with a double curveball. Both my stepfather and father-in-law were diagnosed with terminal cancer. So I kind of took myself out of the business for a while to help care for my dad. My wife done the same for hers. And by the time they had passed and I came back into the business, I just lost my love for the company, kind of didn't have my mojo. I was kind of struggling to kind of get back to where I was before. So few people had kind of reached out, one of which was a sales director for a company in Scotland who were in the process of being bought over by Simpress. And he'd reached out to say, look, I know you're having a tough time. We could do with someone like you up here. Why don't you come and join the team up here? We'll look after you. Um, and so sold up, went to work there for 3 years, which was great. I got to see how the big guys do it, and working with one of the biggest print corporates in the world. It was a really good experience. But as I'm sure you'll appreciate, when you've been self-employed for so long, it's very, very hard to go back to work for someone else. So yeah, I had a seed planted about print coaching, and yeah, I left there to pursue what I'm doing just now.
And that is the online print coach.
It is indeed.
You offer quite a bit. There's print mastermind classes, there's courses, there's one-on-one training. How has it been? How are you enjoying this new chapter in your life? And by the way, very sorry to hear about your father and your wife's father.
Oh, that's okay. It's life. It's something we all have to go through, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's been great, to be honest. I've got the best job in the world just now. Just approaching the 5 year mark. So my wife, she's quite academic. She's a vet surgeon, and she had suggested, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it properly. So I went away and trained to be a fully certified corporate coach. And I believe, if not the only one, but certainly one of the only ones who's registered with the World Association of Business Coaches that focuses purely in the print industry. So yeah, I've been very fortunate, and I've worked with some great clients. I think over the last 5 years, I've certainly worked with hundreds of different print companies. And because it's online, it's there's no limit to where you can work. So I've got clients in the UK, I've got clients in the States, I've got someone in Jamaica I'm working with just now, all over Europe. So it's a really rewarding job, and I get to stop people making some of the mistakes that I made along the way as well. And trust me, I did. I made plenty. But the good thing is, I think working with so many companies, you get to see. I mean, at the moment, I'm working with about 70 clients, and in fact, 72 to be precise. And you get to see what's working, what's not, and obviously help people get to where they want to be quicker. So yeah, I offer one-to-one coaching, um, typically with business owners, but they do bring me in from time to time with some internal coaching for kind of senior management as well. But because there's a glass ceiling to how many people you can obviously do the one-to-one sessions with, so I wanted to create something that allowed me to reach more people and help kind of a wider audience. So I created Print Mastermind, which is an online training platform and community, where we teach everything from basic kind of business admin, sales, marketing, customer service, leadership, finance, you name it, everything you need to run a successful and profitable print business.
Wow. 72 is a lot of people to keep up with.
Yeah, it keeps me on my toes. We've just actually closed the door on the one-to-one coaching for just now. There's a wait list, which is a great problem to have, but we've got a fallback now, at least with the print mastermind. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I like to keep busy.
That's great. So with with that many clients, you get to see a really great cross section of the whole industry.
Mhm.
Is there any common top one, top two, top three things that customers are struggling with?
How long have you got?
We got plenty of time. We got plenty of tape to record here.
Do you know, it's the one thing that I didn't expect to be quite as big of a challenge, which is proven the case with most companies I work with, is managing staff. And actually, kind of not everyone is born a kind of a true leader. Not everyone knows how to manage and retain their employees, and kind of I think that's probably been the one of the biggest challenges. Is how much time we've actually had to spend on HR related issues, to make sure that all kind of it's a two-way street. Obviously, kind of the staff have to be putting their bit in for the business owners, but also vice versa. Kind of the business owners need to be looking after the staff to obviously make sure they're happy, kind of keeping that staff retention. One of my first clients that I worked with, and this was a real lesson, but I think we'd gone through 21 staff in 12 months, purely with some of the challenges that were, and some certainly could have been avoided, but yeah, I think it's just managing the relationships of the staff. I'm a practitioner of a thing called LEP, which is like a psychometric evaluation software, and I spend a lot of time with the business owners, because quite often we're all fighting for the same thing, but we think about how we should get there differently, and it's trying to kind of close that gap on meeting those expectations, but taking everyone's kind of opinion and thoughts into account as well. So staffing's definitely been a big challenge. I think generally a lot of business owners would just get caught up in the day to day. It was certainly one of my kind of faults when I had my business. You turn up, you do your best, you get the jobs out the door, but more often than not, there's not enough. There's not enough focus. There's not enough structure. The systems aren't good enough within the business. So yeah, I think and time's probably the one thing that most people lack these days. So that's one of the things I try and work on is how we can help save. There was one chap I was working with, based in Virginia, and I reckon he was spending about 7 hours a day just actually on his computer replying to emails. So that was a nice, easy, kind of quick fix, and we've now got him down. I think he's down to about 20 minutes a day, on that. But just again, it's allowed him to then focus on building the business rather than being so caught up in it as well. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of similarities. It doesn't matter where you are in the world; we all face the same struggles of running a print company.
It's fun that you identified, with their problems because you experienced them yourself too, so you have a very credible stance here as someone who's sort of been there and done that. You were sending you mentioned the book, The E-Myth,
Hmm.
before, and I believe you're sending a copy to some clients now. Why do you like this book so much? What's in it that
Yeah,
sort of drives you or gave you a thought that you didn't have before?
yeah, it's interesting. I think quite a lot of coaches do actually. I know. If you guys have heard of Action Coach, they're a worldwide coaching franchise, and I know it's certainly something that they give to all their clients. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think from my own perspective, certainly from what I hear back from clients, they come to me because I have walked in their shoes. I do know what it's like, and I think that goes a long way because you need someone that understands the business. I remember when my days of having the print company, I would always come home and sometimes you just need a sounding board. You need to let off steam. And my wife, my poor wife, would always say the complete opposite from what I wanted her to say, because she just didn't get it. She wasn't from that world. Yeah, I think it helps to have someone kind of on your side that knows what you're going through. But yeah, the E-Myth's a wonderful book. Actually, so it's written by a chap called Michael Gerber, and I actually had the pleasure to meet him back in 2015. I was involved in. I used to run a lot of business events as well, and there was a chap I knew was involved in bringing some fairly high-profile speakers over from the States to the UK, and I was asked to kind of help promote this event for them. So I got a chance to have a meet and greet with the man himself. But yeah, it's a great book. As I said, it's all about like systems and processes, and what it does it's based on the foundations of there've been kind of three different kind of business personas, of typically of an owner of a company. And the first one is the technician. So the technician is typically the person that's doing all the work in that, and that's usually what I kind of walk into when I start dealing with a new client, because they're so caught up in the business that they don't have time for much else. You've then got the second one, who's the manager, which is the person who organizes, creates structure, builds systems. And then you've got the entrepreneur, who's kind of ideally where we're all trying to get to, where you look at the bigger picture, you're focusing on the growth, you're actually working on the business without being tied in the business. And that kind of just stuck with me, and it certainly played a big part in building out the franchise model and how to structure it. And I think that serves me well today, looking at where companies are when I first start working with them, and helping them get to where they want to be as well.
Now we're going to have the pleasure of seeing you in Long Beach.
So excited about this.
Yes,
So
yes, so are
excited.
we. So you have provided us with the title of your presentation, which is "Stop Selling and Start Educating."
Yes.
Can you expound on that? Give us a little sneak peek of what you're going to be
Ah,
telling
we
people.
can go into a little bit, can't we?
All right, all
We
right.
can go into a little bit. Yeah, I just think traditionally, like as printers, we're not very good at marketing ourselves, and actually we need to be the complete opposite of that. I think as print companies, our clients need us to be marketing experts as well, and so I kind of there's two elements to some of the stuff I teach, but we base a lot of stuff around the customer value journey, and kind of that's like a roadmap from when a customer first or potential customer first hears about you and the journey that they go on to ideally become the customer who comes back time and time again. And I mean, those are the best types of customers, right? The ones who spend recurringly with you. But and again, you want them to go on to be the ones who shout from the rooftops how good you are, kind of pass referrals, share your company with their friends and colleagues. And then the other part is the kind of customer avatar, and this is really critical. Customer avatar or buying persona, as some people call it, but we don't we don't speak to our target audience in a way that resonates with them enough. I think, I mean, I go on LinkedIn these days, and it's just filled with lots of selling, generic selling at that as well, and they're not speaking to the right audience in the right fashion. So I've got some nice giveaways for the audience who come along to Long Beach, which will hopefully help that as well. But yeah, we're going to be talking about how we can educate our kind of clients better, how we can arm them with the right tools so that they come back time and time again as well. Because it's all very well delivering print jobs, and then kind of hopefully they'll come back to you. You want to make sure that the print jobs you're doing for them are actually making a difference to their business, because if they get results, what are they going to do? They're going to come back time and time again. So yeah, I'll be sharing some stuff around that. I've got some really cool tools to share, as I said, some nice templates which will help kind of streamline the marketing for the audience as well. And yeah, it's not just another seminar about posting more or kind of boosting your engagement. Kind of, I want people to leave with a kind of clear strategy that they can go back and execute when they go back to the office.
Wait. I got a quick follow up here. So so wait a minute. So you're saying that after you deliver a print job, you have to care that it actually did something?
Absolutely.
And how to clear how does one do that?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's all about kind of making sure you get the right mechanisms in place for your customer journey as well. But again, we don't want to give away too much. You're going to have to come along and listen if you want to get the real golden nuggets.
All right. All right. Well played.
I love it. We got ideas coming. We got strategies coming. We got nuggets from Colin McDermott's brain coming to Long Beach. We also have, I hear, a bonus webinar that's being planned for Long Beach registrants
Hmm.
called "The Top 10 Mistakes Print Companies Make," which is what a wonderful inclusion to this education that Long Beach registrants are getting. Can you give us a sneak peek about that? Maybe what's number 7, for instance?
Do you know I ran this seminar for the first time twice last week. Actually, I've been fine tuning it, and we ran it at an expo over here in the UK last week, and it went down really well. So I'm excited to. There's going to be a slightly extended version for you guys, which is even better. But yeah, so I won't give away too much, but number 7. So number 7 was about creating feedback loops from your customers. And one of the best ways I suggest to do that is by surveying your customers. And we're not again. we're not very good at doing this enough. So I mean, obviously you can send out a generic survey randomly at any time, or you could do it as a follow up once a job's been delivered. But it's asking those difficult questions that sometimes we're not comfortable asking. Things like how much do you spend on print? Who else do you use? Are there any other products that you wish we done that we don't offer? That normally kind of unravels kind of like I'm sure you've all heard kind of situations where you find out a customer's going elsewhere for a product because they didn't think you could do it, when in fact it is something you can do. So again, we'll build a little bit that into the Long Beach talk as well, just about educating clients and making sure that they do know of all the products and services that you offer. But I went through this again. I'll share a nice template with you guys on how to kind of craft kind of that survey. But it's I done this process with a client in the States actually about 18 months ago, and he was quite confident that all his customers knew everything he'd done, that they were loyal, that they would always come back to him, they wouldn't go anywhere else. And we put this survey out. The survey went out to, it was probably just over 1,000 customers that he had on his books. And he didn't, I think he got, it was about mid-70s responses. It was like 75 responses he got. And there was some really interesting kind of feedback in there. And what it did establish was, out of those 75 customers, he was leaving about $1.5 million on the table worth of print. For various reasons, like I said, kind of they perhaps didn't know that he offered certain things. There was some cases where there had been a problem with a previous job, so that client stopped ordering that specific product from him. And because he didn't have a good follow-up system in place, he hadn't had that conversation. It was like 8 months down the line from when the client had that issue. And had he only known, he might have been able to retain that business as well. So it won't happen overnight, but I believe to date, over the last 18 months, he's converted about another $500,000 of that money that he was leaving on the table. So yeah, I won't share any more. That's enough to whet the appetite, I think. But yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I think print companies could do a lot better.
Wow. 1.5 million on 75 out of 1,000.
Yeah, imagine if everyone had responded.
Right. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was some of his bigger clients in there, but even still, like that's a lot of money to be leaving on the table.
That must have been eye-opening.
Yeah, and do you know what? I see it all the time. So many print companies, they focus so much on going out there trying to find new clients, and more often than not, the growth that they're looking for is within the customers they already have.
Wow.
Love it.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, this has been great.
It has. It would also be great if people went to theonlineprintcoach.com, check out more about Colin. He's got some great stuff up there. So before you get to Long Beach, you can kind of get to know him by checking out his site and hopefully hopping on our webinar that comes up soon.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Colin. Really appreciate you being here.
Yep.
Can't wait to see you in May.
Yeah, it's not long now. It's fast approaching. And yeah, can't wait to see everyone out there. I really appreciate the time today.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks, Colin.
Take care, guys.
Bye.